I get emails once in a while about keeping logbooks or logs, and I've always been lukewarm on the idea. But I know it's also because of the type of flying that I do. I tend to fly a lot of prototypes, so I'm going to fly a given airplane a lot over a short period of time, and then I learn everything that I need to learn from that airplane, and I basically just throw it away. So keeping a log doesn't make sense because I remember everything that's going on, and then the airplane is gone. So that's that. But if you have a lot of airplanes and you keep them for a long time, and you fly some of them a lot more than the others, so there might be an airplane that you only fly, I don't know, a couple times a year. In that case, yeah, I think there's a much stronger argument for keeping some sort of logbook just to help you remember what's going on with that airplane. And coming from the full-size airplane world, I'm used to doing logbooks, but tell you the truth, most of the time there's just not that much that you need to write. I flew on this day for this long, and it was nice weather, and it was fun, and that's that. But also on full-size airplanes, you keep maintenance logbooks on the airplanes themselves, and that's probably more useful, even though again, you're not going to be doing maintenance that often, so there's not that much to write. And I think the key to keeping a log is the balance between having useful information in there and being easy to keep it up to date. Because if it gets to be a burden, you're going to stop doing it, and then of course there's no value to it, if it's incomplete or who knows what. So think carefully about how you want to keep the log. I like using the single subject notebooks, they're white ruled, 70 pages. And I wait until the beginning of the school year, and I buy a bunch of them for like 15 cents each. So they're basically giving them away. And they're just really handy. I will write the information on each airplane on a separate page, because it's not the by date is not the important part is the by airplane part. So you want to organize the data by airplane. And what you write down is entirely up to you. We'll write down, of course, the date and which airplane. If you have a way of identifying the batteries, I will write that down. Write down how long you flew, because you probably already know that. You may want to make a note about the weather. There was something unusual, unusually windy and gusty, and just any other notes. You had a hard landing. You had a glitch at some point, or you had a dead stick. Just anything unusual, because 6 months or a year from now, that might be really handy to know. If suddenly you had a loose connector and you notice that you started having glitches 6 months before. Well, okay, so 6 months before, that was a big sign that there was a problem coming up, and now you know that with other airplanes, when you see that type of pattern, you better look at the connectors. Who knows? I've also heard of folks keeping logs of battery charges. I think that's a lot less useful. I think that's a lot more work too, I'm not sure I recommend doing that. Nowadays we can measure the internal resistance without too much trouble. We can do a cycle, discharge cycle, and measure what capacity you have. And that's probably the more useful stuff. The key numbers that I tend to write on the battery itself. When you first buy it, write down the internal resistance and write down the measured capacity if you measure that. And that's the key right there. So I'm not sure you need to do a battery log, but airplane log, yeah, again, if you keep an airplane for a long time, write this stuff for it. And till next time.